Okay, welcome to the last module, maintenance and battery care. This will cover maintenance, storage, um, and how you can prolong the life of your battery pack. Having said that, it's important to have the customer realize that any battery machine that he buys, whether it be ours or somebody else's, the batteries have a finite lifespan. And at the end of that lifespan, the batteries will need to be changed. And it is an investment. And ours is about a $5,000 to $6,000 investment. Do a battery change. How often does this happen? Depends on how well you take care of your batteries. Um, Basically, you get about 350 full charges for a battery, lead acid battery. Now, these are AGM batteries. They're made by Full River. Most of them are. We have changed manufacturers. It is now a Centurum, I believe it is, battery. These distributors are available across the United States. And from a freight standpoint and also from a markup standpoint, it is more economical for the owner to contact his local battery distributor to replace these batteries. They can do them with a forklift service company, typically is a good place to do it, or sometimes rental yards like United Rentals will do battery changes on this type of equipment. When you're doing your setup, one of the last things you'll do is you'll go through the electrical box with them. And what you want to do is familiarize the customer with the components of the electrical box. Now, I don't have one here to show you, but basically what there is a battery charger, which has its own manual incorporated into the manual with a troubleshooting guide. There's a light uh, indicator on the side of this charger that is discussed in that manual that will tell you if it's signaling a trouble, what the issue may be. Also, there is a fuse board that has several fuses. In order to test these fuses, they have to be removed. So the practice is to instruct the operator when they are going to access the electrical box to disconnect the battery before they open up the electrical box. And that is done on the left-hand side as you're sitting on the machine. There's a Anderson type plug that when you disconnects the power to the battery box. Now, the fuse board, the fuses on that fuse board need to be removed in order to check their continuity to see if they're good. They will give you a false positive when they're installed in the board, even though they are blown. So it's important to disconnect or to remove the fuse for ohms testing. These fuses have different values, so do one at a time, check it, and then replace it. Do not mix the fuses up on the board. Below the battery board is the contactor. And when you turn the key switch on, that is what makes the contact of the battery pack to the electrical board and turns the machine on. The maintenance on the electrical box, it should be blown out every so often, depending on if you're doing a lot of ceramic or in a lot of dusty environments. The contactor is susceptible to malfunction if it is left to get dirty and dusty over the years. So blowing that out with the air hose is a good practice. The low battery alarm is located in there. The battery balancer is located in there. And one of the things I tell the customer, this black box mounted on the front wall of the electrical box is a battery balancer. And that's unique to our machine. And it is so important to the life of the batteries that they all be at the same charge level. And that's what this battery balancer does. It looks at the 4 packs. There's 16 batteries in 4 groups of 4. And this battery balancer looks at each group. And if there's one group that's a little bit lower in charge level than the other, when you're charging it, when it's plugged in to charge, it will divert more of the charge to that low battery pack to bring them all up evenly. And this is unique, like I said, to us, and it is proprietary, and it has a big impact on the life of the batteries. Our batteries, we feel, last longer than if you were with a competitor's machine. And again, all machines at some point in time will have to have their batteries replaced. So go through, get them familiarized with the battery box. I'm always available if you have any questions once you open a battery box. What is this? How does this work? But refer to the manual too, because the manual is quite descriptive about the components in the battery box. Storage of your machine. It is always good after a job to charge it up full again. And by charging it up full and putting it in storage, again, you will maximize the life expectancy of your batteries. You never want to let your batteries freeze. So if you do not have a controlled temperature environment that'll prevent from freezing, I would recommend that you leave the batteries charger plugged in, because it is a smart charger, and will maintain your batteries and maintain them from freezing if you do that. Also, on battery life, one of the practices that I use to extend the battery, and I recommend to my customers, is that when they're on a job and they know they want to have the maximum life of the battery, and they're not using the cord machine while they're operating, when it's lunchtime, break time, when you're looking at the plans to determine what's next, at every opportunity, plug this machine into a wall outlet. The onboard charger only needs 15 amp breaker, so it plugs into any residential or wall plug and will charge the machine just fine. But take advantage of all your downtime to have the machine plugged in, and at the end of the day, you will benefit by a longer run time for this. That's about it. If you have any questions when you're doing a setup, you have my cell phone. I'm usually always attentive to it, and will be happy to take a call on a machine. So thank you very much, and let me know if you have any questions.